Welcome to Shaping the 21st Century with a Master of Data Science. Before we start, could we please check that you are all able to use the system all right? If you look at your control ribbon, there should be a raise hand button. If you could all press that, then we can check that all is okay. Thank you very much. It looks like everything's working. Let me start by introducing our four panellists. So I'm Jeff Webb. I'm the Director of the Monash University Centre for Data Science and a Professor in the Faculty of Data Science. To my right, I have Professor Ray Buntine, who is a leading researcher in the field of data science and course director of the master degree that we're going to be talking about today. To my immediate left, I have Dr. Landu, another leading international data science researcher and deputy course director. To my far right, I have Dr. Reza Hafari, who is the further leading international researcher, a leading data scientist and director for the Graduate Diploma of Data Science. And last, but very far from least, on my far left, I have Noreen Bora, a Master of Data Science student who is here to answer any questions that you may have. So welcome to Monash University. We are a top 100 university with a large focus on artificial intelligence and the booming area of data science. The Master of Data Science is offered by the Faculty of Information Technology. So let me start by talking a little bit about our faculty. So the Faculty of Information Technology has 150 world-renowned academic teachers and researchers. It is a centre of teaching innovation. Our students are extremely fortunate in that we offer unique industry experience opportunities that we will talk more about later on. We have a large dedicated faculty, which is the only Faculty of Information Technology in Australia and the only the largest group so dedicated to teaching and learning in information technology. And we have a tremendous range of state-of-the-art facilities. A bit more detail about us and our students. We have 150 academic staff across many disciplines of information technology. The faculty has almost 5,000 students at all levels. We have an extraordinarily diverse range of students. We have around 30% of our students come from Australia, and the rest of our student body comes from all across the globe. In fact, the Master of Data Science is the most diverse of all the degrees at Monash University. We are also increasingly diverse in terms of the number of female relative to male students. So as many of you will be aware, information technology tends to be dominated by men. It is incredibly important that we increase female participation. The faculty provides a tremendous environment for women to study with growing numbers of female students. Areas of key strength inside the faculty include software engineering. We host the leading Australian research group in the field of software engineering. We have a leading group in the area of cryptocurrency, a leading group in, a leading worldwide group in the area of optimization. And in data science, the area I'm interested in today, we have the largest and arguably strongest group in the Southern Hemisphere. We are extremely fortunate to have leading edge, very high quality facilities. So we have some illustrations here of the Sensi Lab, which is an extraordinary test laboratory of state-of-the-art equipment, tools, and experiments with how they may best be deployed and used. We have the Cave 2 immersive analytics facility, an extremely high resolution three-dimensional visualization environment. We've got a swarm drone laboratory amongst our many toys that we are able to do research and teaching with, and we have numerous modern and exciting buildings. On the subject of modern and exciting buildings, we're in the process of building a new home for the faculty. It will be called the Technology, Education and Design Building, and it's going to have state-of-the-art teaching and learning as well as research facilities. So this shows a visualization of the central area with an auditorium and large foyer. We're here for data science, and data science is truly the future. So this shows you a table compiled recently by LinkedIn, which lists the top 20 emerging jobs worldwide. And you can see that the top two are machine learning engineer and data scientist. Machine learning engineer is a specialized area of data science. So effectively, data science is both the fastest growing and second fastest growing area in jobs worldwide. I will now hand over to Professor Ray Buntine, who will take you through the educational offerings we have at Monash.
So the data science degree is a postgraduate degree, so we expect that you've already completed your first undergraduate degree, and we call it cognate if your undergraduate degree is somewhat related. So cognate would mean you have an undergraduate degree, in this case in computer science or a similar area. If you do have a cognate degree, then you can take half a year off our Master of Data Science because you already have some of the necessary background in your undergraduate. Some of the other aspects of our degree in the last 6 months, most students, not all, most students will do what's called an industry experience studio project, where they get a bit of exposure to what working in industry is like, and that's something that the employers really appreciate. Finally, for domestic students, we do have some scholarships available. So, but Monash generally offers a wonderful environment for study, and there are many other aspects that make it a good university where you can spend 18 months or 2 years of your life. So there are industry team initiatives, which is where you and 4 of your colleagues spend the summer at one of our industries working on a project. There is a peer mentor programs where if you find that maybe the new programming language or the math is a bit tough, you can spend an hour or 2 a week with your peers in a guided environment together with a senior student supporting your study. And we have some other programs that go along, including entrepreneurship, and there's a rich variety of clubs and societies. So Monash offers a lot as an environment to work in. Now, the Master of Data Science itself, as Jeff has alluded to, we have students from 17 countries, most of the continents, none from Antarctica, I might add yet. We have 40 permanent academics teaching into the degree, and some of the major subjects, or we call them units in the degree, are actually taught by the folks in front of you here. Now in the degree, we offer 2 variants of the degree. These are called streams. One is data science itself, which is a bit more general and lets you do, say, something a bit more computational, a bit more business-like, a bit more data management. And then the other variant of the degree focuses more on the analytics side of it, which is, Jeff was talking earlier about the machine learning engineer. So that's more focused towards machine learning. So here's how you start. If your degree is not cognate, it's a 2-year program. If you have a cognate degree, and I've mentioned earlier that is something like computer science, it's a 1.5-year program because you don't need to do the initial study. A few people, if they have already obtained an honours degree in a related area, in computing, in engineering, in some part of science, they may only take a year, but they do have to have their honours thesis checked with us before starting. Secondly, we actually have 2 intakes. So you can begin mid-year, and the numbers we have beginning mid-year or at the start of the year are actually quite similar. And for those of you who want to keep their full-time job, if you're in Australia or nearby, you can actually do a good part of this degree online. Reza here, Dr. Hafari, runs the graduate diploma, which is about 3/4 of the master's degree. It misses the last 6 months. So this is the structure of the degree. We have the initial foundation units where you repeat some undergraduate study. Then we have core units and elective units making up together about 12 months or 2 semesters of study. And then finally, you will complete with a capstone project of some kind. And some of you may choose to do an honours research project if you'd like to go on and do something like a PhD. So typically for most students, or a good number of students, there are 4 semesters. And if you're starting next semester, February 2019, that's your first semester, you would be completing in second semester 2020. And the very first semester, you're going to be doing 4 units. Now, this is the way we break up our semester. You typically have 4 units a semester. Each unit is supposed to be about 12 hours of work a week. And there were 12 teaching weeks at Monash. Now, those 12 hours for each unit is broken up into 2-hour lecture, 2-hour tutorial. So altogether, we're putting it down as 48 hours a week, and that's quite a lot of work. Our students do say they do a lot of work. And here are the first 4 subjects that are taught. And these are what we call the foundation units, and these are to give you basic understanding before you go into the core units of the degree, which we'll talk about in a bit. So those basic understanding are databases, programming in Python, which is one of the major languages of data science. The second one is R, which you'll also do. Then there's mathematical foundations. Now, data science is tightly connected with statistical analysis, as it is tightly connected with aspects of computer science, like databases and programming. The 4th unit is a choice, and that can be business information systems or computer architectures and operating systems. So there are our first 4 units. That's your first 6 months, your first semester. However, if you already have a computer science degree, you should have the majority of this already. So having done your first semester, you're now ready to kick off with the core of the degree. And these are the 3 units that everybody must do. This is what we call our core, and we do encourage students to do this in their second semester. We'll briefly talk about some of these because we teach them. So I teach Introduction to Data Science. This is a broad scope subject that, rather than drilling down into analytics, it actually looks at the big picture. It looks at data, it looks at businesses, it looks at platforms, it looks at processes. So in a way, it's an information systems version of data science. The other subject that I teach into is the 3rd one there, modelling for data analysis. Now this is our version of an introduction to statistics, but it's got a bit of a modelling aspect to it, because in data science, to a large degree, we're doing modelling. We're trying to build models. So that's the focus of the statistical analysis that we teach our students in their first core semester. Now I'll hand it over first to Dr. Du on the left here, who teaches 2 other units.
Yep. I teach data wrangling unit, one of the core unit in Master of Data Science. It's actually about manipulating raw data into a form which we can use in the downstream data analysis. It touches on extracting data from different data format, how to clean the data by dealing with missing values or outliers, then how to merge the data set together. We also teach you how to actually manipulate or pre-process text data there.
And applied data analysis.
Okay, the second unit I teach is about applied data analysis. It touches on the fundamental statistical learning models, which you can use in regression analysis, classifications. We also move one step further to handle how to deal with nonlinear problems in the data set, or how to use some advanced machine learning algorithms in your data analysis. We focus on using the R language in the unit.
And secondly, Dr. Hafari.
So I teach algorithms for data analysis. This unit covers the fundamentals of machine learning, which is the basis of analysis of data. So we cover the mathematical, statistical, and computational aspects of algorithms for data analysis. And this unit is an elective unit, which is highly attended by students who take the advanced data analytics stream of the degree.
Thank you. So now to wrap up, these are the course maps. I'm not going to explain these in a major way, but what would happen if you started your degree? You'd be presented with all of these options here of what you can do, how you can map out your course, and we give you guidebooks too, so you can understand the different options and where they are. So that's our introduction to our course.
So thank you very much, Professor Buntine and Drs. Hafari and Du. In a moment, we're going to give you a chance to ask your questions of us. So please, if you have questions, you choose the Q&A button on the ribbon and type them in. But before we do that, I'm going to hand over to our student on the panel, Amit Bora, my apologies, who will tell you a little bit about his experience as a student in the Master of Data Science.
So right from my undergrad, I wanted to study abroad, and Melbourne seemed like a very best choice. And I was looking for a university that is high ranking and that is good at infrastructure. And I stumbled across Monash. I first looked at the website, fall in love with Monash, and immediately did my enrollment and stuff, and fly out from India to Melbourne, and started my Master of Data Science journey with, as I've already did my undergrad in IT degree. It was in IT, so I could skip a lot of the foundation unit, and I could straight away start with the important units like wrangling, introduction to data science and modeling. And I would say I enjoyed doing the big data units in this course, and I also enjoyed doing data wrangling. These two units have made me learn so many things in so many ways. And I would say, and the best highlight of my course was the IE. It's the final capstone project that I was part in, and I could implement all of the things that I've learned in data science into that particular project. And with other IT students, I was able to design and develop mobile applications, and where I could use my data science knowledge to get some insights and stuff, which was very helpful for my target audience. And I would say I've loved this course since I've joined it, and yeah, pretty much.
Thank you very much, Amit. That's a very nice overview. And now for your questions. I think that some of you are in the process of typing some questions in as we speak. While we're waiting for those to come through, I might just ask Professor Buntine to clarify the situation around advanced standing. So are students able to get credit for units within the program, and hence, instead of having to complete a full 2 years of study, able to complete the degree in an accelerated timeframe?
So Amit referred to this when he was talking about it. The idea is if you already have a background in Python, that could be work experience in Python, if you've got an engineering degree and your mathematics is strong, then with that experience or background or training in mind, you can apply for what's called a credit or exemption, which means you don't have to do that unit. We will award you the credit for the unit, and you can either choose to replace the unit with something else, or you could do one less unit of study in your degree. So we have, most of our students do apply for advanced standing in some areas, and it's a good way to accelerate your degree, to enrich your degree with other units.
So I believe our first question is now ready, and that one of our amazing assistants off camera is going to read it out so everyone
So the first question is from Eddie, and is this course only available at the Caulfield campus?
Professor Buntine.
Yes, for this 2019 and 2020, we will be delivering entirely at the Caulfield campus. If you want to do the online version of the degree, of course it is, you can do it anywhere, but that will give you basically the first 3/4 of the degree.
We've also had another one come through, just talking about where could you find extra help or assistance? Is there many student groups, mentors available, that sort of thing?
Now, Amit, would you like to make a comment on that before I give my answers?
Yep, there are student groups. There's a data science society which have come up, and students have organized different talks and different activities within that to help each other out. And apart from that, I would say there are a lot of resources available online that they can refer to. And besides that, I would say there are a lot of meetups they can go around in Melbourne, and they can participate in different datathons as well. And I would say, yeah, there are a lot of resources available everywhere they can do.
Yes, thank you. So just to enrich some of those, our library provides services for people whose first language is not English. So you can actually practice your English and get help with writing your assignments. We have the peer mentor programs for some of the early units, where you can get assistance in peer groups run by a senior. And of course there's tutorials, and Amit talked a bit about the Monash Data Science Society. Also the Melbourne Data Science meetup is one of the biggest, certainly in Australia, but it's pretty big worldwide. Not as big as San Francisco, I might add, Bay Area, but it's pretty good.
We've just had another question come through. In terms of workload, would it be possible to complete the degree full-time if you're doing about 20 hours worth of work?
I would strongly discourage 20 hours a week work. We have some people who may do, say, 10 or 15. So you can do the degree at a slower rate if you want to work that much. But I wouldn't work more than, say, 2 days a week.
Perhaps Amit would like to give his perspective on whether it would have been possible to complete the degree while working 20 hours.
Yeah, I would agree with Ray on this. Like 20 hours of work with this course is, I would say, it's really difficult. It's sometimes you have to make a lot of time out for the assignments, because the assignments are really challenging. It tests your mental health. Yeah.
So, for instance, if your background is not in programming, then you'll be doing a lot of practice work and getting up to steam in programming, and your first year will be a bit tougher. So there's a lot of different things that can make it a bit of a challenge, but it's not an easy degree, is how I would say it. So, but I think that would apply for most full-time degrees.
Yep. Next question is, do we offer any evening or weekend classes?
So a few of the units have weekend, there's no weekend classes. A few of the units are taught in the evening, but that isn't very common. Nowadays, though, we have a delivery system called Panoptics. What that means is you're able to view the lecture remotely and actually be involved, ask a question remotely. So it's a very good delivery system that lets you attend a lecture in a real sense, but digitally. So that option is there. Quite a lot of the tutorials you'll be able to get evening or say 8 a.m. versions of the tutorial. But I would, if you're in the degree full time, I would recommend you're there maybe 3 days a week. You don't want to miss your tutorials, and being in person at lectures is always better.
So does that mean the degree is only offered full time then?
The degree is both full time and half time. If you are an international student, you must do it full time. That's the visa requirement. We have quite a number of domestic students, and in fact, quite a few of them are of international origin, but they are now domestic. And some of the domestic students do like to work part-time because they've got a good job. And also, some of our students get very good employment in their second year, and so they want to finish off a bit slower. So part-time is an option, but not for internationals.
Directed to Amit, what do you like about the Caulfield campus? Coming obviously not from Melbourne, did you enjoy being an international student? How was it fitting in?
I would say the Caulfield campus was more, I would say I could find most international students around the Caulfield campus, and I would say the connectivity was really good. And when I came here, I started living close by the campus, but eventually I could see that the campus was like really well connected with all the public transport, so I could venture out and start living nearby. And also, I would say there are a lot of different food options out here in the Caulfield campus, and a lot of international, a lot of foods from different cultures, I would say.
Mm. They've done a wonderful job with the campus, and it's a quick ride to the city as well. Very good on the train.
I've got another one. The selection process into the course, what does that look like?
So we have an entry requirement other than language. The main entry requirement is the 60%, which you must achieve average for your undergraduate degree. Of course, if you'd like to do your degree 6 months quicker, you can do, it helps if you've got a computer science or a computer engineering or a related degree to cut that 6 months off.
What would be the best tip you could give for choosing which stream in the master to follow?
Two things to choose the stream. One is your career direction. The other one is your capabilities. So some people are more mathematical, analytical. The analytics stream is more mathematical, analytical, but you must be able to program as well. The other stream is less analytical, but you still have to understand the algorithms of data science, which is why you do a unit like applied data analysis with Dr. Landu. But there's less analytics. So those people with maybe an engineering background, we find they do the data analytics side. Those who may be excellent programmers, they may come from a business background, they may want to do something else, and they will then do the general stream, which gives you options in data engineering, data management, and of course the more practical data science project operations.
Why would it be important for students to continue on study into the Masters of Data Science?
Oh, from an undergraduate. I'll just say, does anyone else think they can address that? I will just say, first off, there aren't many undergraduate degrees in data science. If you have one, maybe you're okay, but if you don't, I would recommend you do the you do the masters. Secondly, data science and related areas really is a great career option. You just have to look at the big IT industries to see that.
Do you have the option of doing summer or winter courses to finish the degree earlier?
This is a very good, pertinent question. We keep these summer and winter options open for those people who have struggled with one unit and failed. So that means you can do an extra unit in the summer or the winter, catch up, and you'll still be on track to finish. So we do that. The options over the summer and winter are not as great, and then most of them are electives, but we do have a few options, and we work with our students closely in managing and supporting those who have failed a unit to see that they can proceed in a way that suits their plans.
What distinguishes the Monash Master of Data Science from other Australian university offerings? I guess what makes it the better choice?
I would say Monash is a global leader when it comes to cutting edge research, and I would say this especially for Master of Data Science program. It is much more hands-on compared to any other program. It kind of let you go deep dive, write your own program and do codings. And I would say, and this program is, I would say, it'll build your base to learn much more higher technologies. Like if you want to learn image recognition or deep learning, this course is the base, and from there you can learn a lot of different stuff.
And from Ray?
So that's there's other degrees with a different personality. Of course, Monash is one of the top universities in Australia. Many of the top universities have a degree like a data science degree. Not all of them allow entry from non-computer science or non-cognate backgrounds. So we find some of our better graduates come from outside areas. So we allow different students to enter. Also, we have perhaps a broader coverage. We take data science in a broader way with data wrangling, big data, visualization. All of these areas we cover in ways. Some degrees are less coverage in that respect. Finally, we have really built up our degree. We haven't we've built up with a whole number of new units we've really tailored for this career. So we do believe we've built a degree that's quite unique in its offerings.
Why are data science scientists and accompanying fields in such high demand, and do you believe this trend will continue to grow?
Want me to field that one? So I think no one can escape the way information technology is transforming the world that we live in. It's a time of dramatic change. If you look at the world's top 10 companies by market capitalisation, then the youngest in that collection are Amazon, Alphabet, the parent company of Google, Tencent, Chinese equivalent of those, Facebook, and the other Chinese one whose name is, sorry.
Several of them.
Baidu,
Alibaba.
Alibaba.
I think, yes. Baidu is the other one in the top 10. So the five youngest of the top 10 are all, with the possible exception of Amazon, driven by data science.
And Amazon is as well. I was visiting Amazon in Bangalore. They do a lot of data science.
So the core business of all of them except for Amazon is understanding people and then using that understanding to do things such as marketing, and that has driven the extraordinary wealth creation. So the top two companies by market capitalisation, so Apple and Amazon, are not just data science companies. So Amazon actually sells things, as does Apple, but both of those derive a large amount of their profitability from the smart use of data science to better control their supply chains, to better communicate with customers. So data science is in such tremendous demand because it is the force which is driving a massive accumulation of wealth worldwide. But it's not just a commercial proposition. It's also being widely deployed for many other purposes, including many purposes for understanding some of the most pressing health and environmental problems confronting us and helping pose solutions there too. So the short answer is data science is in such great demand because it is the core technology which is driving the world's future.
Reza here is an expert in language and communication. I want to hear your quick opinion on this as well.
Right. So I think one of the main ways that humans communicate with each other is through language. So, and you can see a lot of language-related applications services provided by different companies, as Jeff mentioned, like for example, Google, the processing of our inboxes, like incoming emails, like spam versus non-spam, and many other services that Google provides is based on language processing, and these services are going to grow in future as well.
Just because this is such an important subject, we had the Industrial Revolution. Now we're into the machine learning, data science revolution. It really is that big. Okay.
And last question, I guess for everyone, how is data science shaping the 21st century?
I think we just answered that. It's really the core technology which is changing the way everything is done. Data science is the key technology that underlies most of artificial intelligence, underlies self-driving cars, underlies many of the processes behind giants such as Amazon, services such as Netflix, things such as Deliveroo. I could put it provocatively and say, if you're thinking about a future career, would you rather be one of the people who's a Deliveroo rider, or would you rather be one of the people who's developing the technologies that enable them to best dispatch riders and locate riders in appropriate positions to go. The future of work is changing dramatically. It's very hard to know what the main professions of the future are going to be, but you can be confident that data scientist is going to be one of them.
For instance, the medical profession, we're just starting to see the revolution hit that. But it's going to be a massive change in hospitals and medicine in the next 10, 15 years. Absolutely enormous. We're already seeing it. So, good.
So I'd like to thank our panellists for taking time out of their precious evening. So thank you very much, Professor Buntine, Dr. Hafari, Dr. Du, and especially Amit Bora, our student representative. And I'd also like to especially thank you, our audience, and thank you very much for your tremendous questions. Have a good evening.
Thank you.